When did you learn that life is unfair and how did you deal with it initially? When I was diagnosed with cancer, I had to sit in hospital rooms getting chemotherapy, but I was a 20-year-old kid with a great prognosis and a family support system. Meanwhile, around me were mothers, some single mothers, getting the same treatment, but trying to figure out how to get groceries to the house or who could pick the kids up from school or how they were going to pay a bill. I heard it all while they were on the phone just 8 feet from me, dozens of times with dozens of women. My heart still bleeds for them and it's been 18 years. I had it easy. Those families were decimated by the disease. That's not fucking fair. What I learned and how I handle it is just being super grateful for any good in my life, being patient with those around me because I didn't know what they are going through, and understanding that when most bad things happen in my life, it's not anyone's fault, and I just need to move through whatever it is and not dwell on it, because it's just random chance. When I saw someone who worked so hard not get the recognition they deserved, while someone else who barely put in effort got all the praise. I realized it as a kid when I saw people work hard but still struggle. At first, it felt frustrating, but I learned to focus on what I can control and support others when I can. Our neighbor when we were growing up had a daughter the same age as me. We were all poor, but I didn't know that really. Anyway, her mom moonlighted as a seamstress. For Xmas one year I got the most amazing Barbie dresses, thanks sequenced ball gown type. I rushed over to show my friend. She said, "Yeah, my mom made those." I said, "Well, where are yours?" She didn't even have a Barbie. My parents always used to tell me this, and I never really believed them, until I realized I work 40 hours a week for minimum wage, can't afford to buy a house, spend 1-2 hours a day stuck in traffic, and am expected to waste my youth on lost time am giving up just to survive. And you know what's worse? There are women in Afghanistan who would do anything to be in my position right now. No matter how special you are or how hard you work, someone way less qualified can easily get ahead of you. When I realized that no matter how hard I try, non-disabled people will have life easier than I do, and I didn't handle it very well, tried to push myself too far to be the same as my non-disabled peers, but I ended up so burnt out that I couldn't function for days on end. Being born in a poor household and seeing rich people enjoying life's pleasures made me realize this at a very young age. I got in huge trouble, I was like 5, for accidentally dropping a toy on my sister's foot. The next day, she intentionally jumped on my head like cartoon-style brain crusher monkey jumping. And my mom said it was an accident and didn't beat her ass, or lock her in the room for hours and refuse her dinner my penalties or make her say sorry. I would have been happy with a sorry. How I took it was I windmill smacked the absolute fuck out of her and left a handprint in her face and had a screaming meltdown that lasted until my dad got off work. One of my earliest memories is being slapped around and paddled for some unknown reason. No explanation of her wrongdoing on my part. I dealt with it by creating a calendar of how many times I received a beating from my mother. I lost my dad this year. A month later I meet the most amazing girl. I was single my whole life. I thought God was throwing me a bone. She talked about going on vacation together. She said her name with my last name. She talked about having kids. I fell in love with her. 2 months later she broke my heart and ended things. Fortunately, I thought it was unfair, but then I learned I was weak and insecure. I'll do better next time. Somewhere in my teenage I realized that you can keep grinding, but you're never going to be among the uber rich. Yes, some people just get there by sheer luck, but most won't. I reacted by generally having apathy towards hard work. But then I realized I also kind of hit the jackpot by having everything I have. I'm now at a point where I'm just happy and content with my life, blissfully aware that it's more unfair to others than to me. As a little girl my dad and brother got to walk around without shirts on when it was hot, so on a hot day when I was about 4 I took off my shirt and went outside. My mom was talking to the neighbors in the backyard and scooped me up and asked me why I wasn't wearing a shirt. I said I was warm and wanted to not wear one like my brother. My mom said only boys get to do that and I started crying. I don't remember what else she told me after that when she took me inside. When, as a hopeful young researcher, I thought that only hard work counted, the world of research slapped me in the face. If it works for everyone involved and there's clear communication, then go for it. It's not for me, but I respect it. Realized when I chased a man and got nothing in return. With a heart full of love, I was so kind to him. Tried giving all my love and attention to him. But he wasn't ready or just wasn't capable of appreciating love, or simply put just wasn't interested in me. Our talking stage lasted more than a year, and it hit me one fine day that he just doesn't care. No matter what I do or what I say. I cried, obviously, cried a lot, but then accepted the reality. Acceptance is the only solution. And I also blocked him everywhere. At 10 years old, I'm 48 and I've never been able to manage. I've worked very hard in my career and haven't had much of the conventional success awards, while I've had colleagues with the exact same credentials as me get jobs in much better situations and automatically have more conventional success. I found other ways to be successful, but it's still hard to not feel bad about myself sometimes. I have to remind myself to not compare myself to others and that I am just as valuable, but it's hard. I went to school, got a degree, got a job, and realized no one is going to pay me a decent wage. When I became the man of the house at like 13 or 14, Dad left since birth and we were in poverty ever since. But around 13 or 14, I couldn't view myself as a kid. I had to take up more responsibility. I started selling chips at school to afford bus money.